Sherry G. Happy Thursday to you. What a mess with all of this escape drama. Man, but I tell you what, I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that the mama had anything to do with the alleged $30,000 that's missing. But before I get into that, keep in mind that the views expressed in this video are alleged. They're of my opinion, and all of this is for entertainment and learning purposes. Yep, there's a lot to learn here. There's so much to unpack with everything that's going on and the recent allegations of a 5-year mistress. So I'm not going to be able to unpack it all for you this morning or to get into a discussion with you about it this morning because I definitely want to talk about it. So I have to get out of here and go to work, but it was on my mind. I woke up and I'm like, wow. So anyway, guys, so as we know, there's just been a lot of drama with this escape, and in particularly between Tamika, Tasha, and the mama. And I always felt like, to me, that the mama was hiding something. She just seems like when she was yelling and screaming, it always seemed so defensive to me. And it seemed like she was not trying to clear the waters between her daughters, but definitely leaning more towards the side of Tasha. And I felt like there was more to Tasha that she just wasn't, that we weren't getting, but we're getting it now. I felt like Tamika was always telling the truth, and it's just the way she cried that pierced my heart. And that was just, then it was my opinion. Now it seems to be, it is what it is, right? She was telling the truth. But anyway, like I said, it's a lot to unpack. And it just seems like there are a lot of issues that women everywhere are facing it that's come to the limelight because of reality TV and what we're seeing with people who are in the limelight, like, you know, Melody and Martell and Kevin Hunter and Wendy, and now Tasha and Rocky, whose real name is Edward, by the way, in their relationship. So I really want to really do some unpacking on that. But let's just talk about the surface issues, and then we'll get into like the deeper issues, because I'm going to come back later. Like I said, I have to go to work, and there's just not really enough time to do all of that right now in this video. But yeah, so as it turns out, allegedly, yeah, the mama and Tamika and Tasha and Rocky are all in on this $30,000 that Tamika is claiming they stole from her, and it's looking like it's all true. So what happens was Tiny's mom registered all of the girls, and let me just pull it up here. They registered all of the girls with what is called the Sound Exchange. And the Sound Exchange, I'm just going to read this information that I have on the Sound Exchange, just in case you don't know what it is, because I kind of figured it had to do with royalties, but I really wasn't sure like what they did. So honestly, to be honest with you, so I want to share it with you just in case there's someone out there that's like, well, what exactly is it? I kind of feel like I know, but I'm not really sure. So anyway, Sound Exchange is an American nonprofit collective rights management organization, which was founded in 2003. It's the sole organization designated by U.S. Congress to collect and distribute digital performance royalties for sound recordings. So in other words, this organization was put together to ensure that musical artists, receive royalties from the music they put out there. And Tiny's mom found out about the organization because, remember, the girls were young when they started. And Tiny's mom found out about the organization and registered all of the girls for with the group, with the organization, to ensure that they got their royalty checks. So she had to get their information, get their addresses, and etc. and etc. And so they had a conversation, and or they were all sitting around talking, and Tiny's mom said, "Well, Tiny's been getting some good checks." And Tamika was oblivious to the whole thing. She was like, checks? So they went on to explain, because, she's like, what checks? Because she's saying, did you get your checks? She's like, what checks? So then they go on to explain to Tamika about, the Sound Exchange and how they were registered for the Sound Exchange and how they were supposed to be getting these checks for their royalties. That she needed to check on hers to find out what's happening. And that's exactly what Tamika did. And upon her research, trying to find out, what happened to her money, it was discovered that there was an address change. And the address change was to Tasha's home where her mom was staying also, because I guess Tasha and Rocky were taking care of the mom. Or for some reason, she was living with them. So, yeah, it's a lot to unpack. So, as it turns out, she got copies of the checks, and she could see that they were forged, and allegedly they were forged by Rocky, I think. Yeah, they were forged by Rocky and Tasha. So, anyway, Tamika never got the checks. But this is how she found out that her sister stole money, and she believed that her mom knew, and I believe that her mom knew too. I'm not really sure. I'm sure this might come out later, but I'm not really, because everything's coming out now, right? I'm not really sure, and boy, is it coming out. But I'm not really sure if the mom actually received the cash in her hand. But because she lived in the house with them, she received benefits from that money. Right, it kept the lights on, whether it was to pay the rent, whether it was to buy groceries, food, whatever extra things they did, the mom benefited from that money as well. So in my opinion, she is just as guilty as they are, because I honestly believe she knew. Well, we know she knew, allegedly, based on the fact that she said that, they needed the money. Anyway, moving on. So I believe that the mom is just as guilty. And Tamika chooses, not to press charges against them. I don't know if I would give that much grace. I don't know if there's anything she can do about it now, because it's so long ago, but still, I don't know. And I guess now she's doing the best she can by separating herself from them, which I don't blame her. You just got to put up boundaries. You got to separate yourself from the mess and all the toxicity and her mom's behavior towards her. I feel like there's deeper issues there, that it goes beyond her knowing that her daughter took this money, that Tasha took this money, Tasha and Rocky stole Tamika's money. It's deeper than that. Like I said, her mom does no work to clear the waters between the girls. And she seems to be hostile, in my opinion, towards Tamika. I feel like it might have something to do with, they have different fathers. So I feel, in my opinion, that it may have something to do with the father, albeit psychological and unconscious. She might not even be aware that this is why she's acting this way towards her daughter. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or anything like that. But just from me sitting back, and that's what it seems like to me. So, in my opinion, and she might be aware. Who knows? But anyway, like I said, there's a lot to unpack in this story. So, not only did Tamika not, she chose not to press any type of charges, but in doing that, she just took on the responsibility of paying the taxes too. So, because you got to pay taxes on all that money. And not only did she get the money, but she had to pay taxes on top of it. So, yeah, there's just absolutely no regard for Tamika at all. And then now we're finding out that Rocky has a mistress, or had a mistress allegedly, for the past 5 years, or for 5 years. I'm not really sure what the time frame of that is, because all of this information is just now unfolding. But I will tell you this, I am not surprised, because in my opinion, Rocky seems to be like a predator. He does not allow, from what we've seen on the show and what the girls are alleging on the show, he does not allow Tasha to even speak for herself. So anything that she says or any responses she gives in an interview, he has to tell her what to say. And we've seen that on the show, where he comes and he whispers to her before she responds. Like, she'll just sit there and not say anything, and then he'll come and give her the words. And he even said, I have to tell her what to say. Crazy. And how do these women end up in relationships like this and stay? And did Tasha know about the 5 year relationship that Rocky had with this woman? Anyway, I'm gonna be back later, and we're gonna talk about all of that. We're gonna answer some of these questions later on today, because I had a lot of questions, and I'm like what's really going on? And this whole thing is crazy, and we're seeing this again. We talked about a little bit about the Wendy Williams and Sharina mess, and then we seen it with our fave girl Melody and her situation in the past with Martell. So, well, yeah, we're gonna unpack it. But you know what? That's all I have for you right now. Until later, hit the notification bell, because I will be back. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd love to have you here. Yeah, but until later, ciao.